They say the scariest monsters aren't the ones hiding under your bed. They're the ones that come knocking at your door. And when you hear that knock, it's already too late. I am sitting in front of my computer right now, my hands trembling, my skin cold and clammy, my heart pounding so violently I can hear it in my ears. I am terrified. Every second feels like it might be my last. I can barely breathe. My friend is sitting across from me, his face pale, his eyes darting toward the front door where the sound keeps echoing. He is the reason this is happening. Because of him, my life is in danger. I know that sounds strange, even absurd, but let me try to explain what led to this moment. It began earlier today, in the quiet of the afternoon, when the stillness of my house was broken by a violent crash. The front door flew open, and my friend stumbled inside, slamming it shut with his back. He looked as though he had been running for miles. His chest was heaving, his face dripping with sweat, and his eyes, those wide, desperate eyes, were filled with a terror I had never seen before. I asked him what had happened, but for several moments he couldn't even form words. He just stood there, breathing hard, his whole body trembling. Finally, in a choked voice, he began to speak. For the past year, he had been living with his aunt. His parents had gone to Mexico, doing volunteer work in a small mission hospital in the south. Everything seemed normal until last night when a man staggered through the doors of that hospital. He was disheveled, covered in dirt, his clothes torn, and his face twisted in panic. He shouted in Spanish, words tumbling from his mouth too quickly to follow, but the terror in his voice was unmistakable. They sat him down and tried to calm him. As he caught his breath, he began to speak in broken English, desperate to be understood. He told them his sister was dead, murdered by something he called La Muerto Blanco. He kept repeating the name over and over, as if the very act of speaking it out loud might summon the thing closer.
Confused, my friend's parents asked him what he meant. Who or what was this white death? The man's face went pale, his eyes filled with tears. He whispered that she was not a person, not anymore. She had once been a girl, a lonely girl, unloved and broken, who had taken her own life. But death had not been the end for her. Her hatred was too great, her desire for erasure too consuming. She returned, not as a soul at rest, but as something far darker, a spirit with a single purpose, to wipe away all who spoke of her, all who remembered her, all who dared to even know of her existence. "She is a girl, but not a girl," the man said. "She is not dead, but not alive either. She has black eyes that cry blood. She doesn't walk, but somehow she is always moving closer. She hunts you like a predator, across forests, rivers, mountains. You do not know she is following until you hear it, her knock." His voice shook as he explained what the knocking meant. One knock for your skin, which she will use to repair her rotting flesh. 2 for your hair, which she chews between her teeth, 3 for your bones, which she shapes into weapons, 4 for your heart, which she rips from your chest, 5 for your teeth, which she cleans and stores in her little box, 6 for your eyes, plucked out one by one, and the 7th knock, the last, she comes for your soul and swallows it whole. No matter how far you run, no matter how many doors you lock, she will find you, he said, his voice breaking. And if you try to escape while she is knocking, she will follow you faster than you can ever flee. The man insisted that she had killed his sister. He had gone to the police, but they dismissed him, laughing at his story as an old superstition. He went to his priest, desperate for help, but the priest slammed the church doors shut, saying nothing. Later, through his tears, he explained. The priest had seen her standing there, behind him. He was too terrified to get involved. The man wept into his hands, rocking back and forth, repeating the same words. She follows forever, until you tell someone. Only then does she kill you, and follow the one you told. After speaking, the man grew frantic. He stole a car from the hospital parking lot and vanished into the night. My friend's parents, shaken, called his aunt immediately. They repeated to her the strange story of La Muerto Blanco, asking if she had ever heard of it. She said no, but they told her everything the man had said, every dreadful detail.
That night, his aunt received another call, this time from the police. His parents had been found dead outside the hospital. Their bodies had been torn apart, mangled in ways too horrific to describe. Shaking, his aunt phoned mourning. Through her sobs, she told him what had happened. She repeated the entire story, the strange man, the white death, the warnings. She could hardly believe it herself, but she told him everything anyway. When he hung up, he was broken, lost in grief and disbelief. He returned home from school later that day. The front door was open. He stepped inside, calling for his aunt. What answered him was silence, except for the faint sound of something wet on the floor. He followed the sound into the kitchen. There he saw it. A long smear of blood leading to what remained of his aunt. Her body was torn limb from limb, scattered across the tiles like a butchered animal. Overcome with terror, he ran. He didn't stop to gather clothes or call for help. He just ran through the streets, across town, until he reached my house. When he finished telling me all of this, my stomach twisted. His story seemed insane, impossible, some grotesque nightmare. But before I could say anything, before I could reassure myself that it was only madness, the sound came. A knock at my door. We froze, our eyes locked. Then came another knock, then another, steady, relentless. The sound reverberated through the wood, through the walls, into my bones. We both knew what it meant. She had found us. We have been sitting here ever since, staring at the door, unable to move, unable to breathe. The knocking hasn't stopped. It has only grown louder, more insistent, sometimes soft,
sometimes like fists pounding but never ceasing. I think she enjoys it, dragging it out, feeding on our terror, making us blame each other. And I do. I blame my friend. If he had never come here, if he had never told me this cursed story, I would be safe. He brought her to me. He doomed me. And now, writing this, I feel something else. Regret. I wish she had taken him before he reached my house. I wish I had never met him. I wish I had never listened. But worst of all, I am sorry for you. Because now you have read this. Now you know of her. You know her name. You know her story. And she knows you. She will be coming for you next. So if, after hearing this story, you notice a knock at your own door tonight, don't answer it. Don't even breathe too loudly, because once you know about her, the White Death knows about you too, and she never stops knocking. If this story chilled you to the bone, make sure to like the video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel for more terrifying tales that will keep you awake at night. And remember, once you've heard the knock, you can never unhear it.